Shalom Aleichem Rabotai. Mishnah continues for the 8th of Adar. Yesterday we started the 8th chapter as well, and we talked about making a multi-person Eruv Techumin. Now we're on Mishnah Gimel. We're sort of back to the good old Eruv Chatzerot. So chapter 8, Mishnah 3, Anshe Chatzer, people living in a courtyard, Anshe Mirpeset, people living in a Mirpeset or Marpeset, a balcony or gallery, sort of an upper floor with a walkway joining the apartments. So we have apartments on the lower floor, that's the Chatzer, and then apartments on an upper floor with some sort of shared gallery or balcony connecting them, and that's the Marpeset. You'll see this sometimes with like hotel rooms where the second and third floors, they have a like a walkway all around on the outside. So Sheshachu, they forgot V'lo Eruvin. They didn't make an Eruv. Now, what the Gemara explains is they did make an Eruv, but the downstairs residents made their own Eruv for the downstairs, and the upstairs residents on the Mirpeset, they made for the upstairs, but they didn't make a joint Eruv together. So downstairs they can carry in the Chatzer, in the courtyard, and upstairs they can carry on their walkway, on their gallery, but they can't carry from one to the other. So the question the Mishnah asks is, what parts of the courtyard belong to whom? Like what's accessible to each one? So the Mishnah explains, Kol shegavo asar tefachim, if something is 10 tefachim, 10 hands breadths tall, lamer peset, that belongs to the people upstairs. Pachot mikan, less than this, lechatzer. And lower than that is to the chatzer. The Mishnah continues, Chuliat habor vasela, if you had like a pile of dirt that you're using sort of to enclose a pit, you'd make a pit of water, a bore of water, or around a rock, so you kind of make a protective, speed bump around it. If it's gevohim asar tefachim, if it's 10 tefachim tall, lemerpeset, so they have the right to use it. B'chomekan l'chatzer. Less than that is to the chatzer. This is a reminder about, say, if someone has lamaisa, if somebody has a swimming pool or a body of water in their property, it's very important to wall it off to prevent access to children, because not all children know how to swim. So there's of course a mitzvah, sita maka legagecha, we make a fence around the roof so people don't fall off the flat roofs like they have in Yerushalayim. This mitzvah probably extends, at least the concept extends, to swimming pools, bodies of water, attractive nuisances, things like this that we don't want vulnerable people getting into. Anyway, the Mishnah says, B'mei, Devarim, Memorim, when does this apply? That the tall ones are to the upstairs, those short ones to the upstairs, Besmucha, when it's close by. So like when it's close by the gallery of Mifleget, if it's far away, even if something is 10 tefachim tall, like some sort of column or telephone pole or something like the like, it belongs to the Chatzer if it's not really within reach of the gallery, of the upstairs walkway area. And what is close enough? Something that's not 4 tefach away. So if you have a column that's more than 10 tefachim tall and it's less than 4 tefachim away from the upstairs walkway, from the gallery, then it's theirs in terms of they can use it, carry on and off of it on Shabbos because they have an Eruv for the upstairs. And if not, it belongs to the Chatzer. Now the Kahati here says, based on the Gemara, it lav dafka belongs to them, but it could be shaykh to both of them, and therefore no one can use it because there's property rights of both the upstairs and downstairs on it. Great, let's go on to Mishnah Dalet. Hanotin et Eruvo b'beit shar. Somebody put the Eruv in the gatehouse. This is again an Eruv Chatzer, so it's communal food, shared food, or food that someone was giving over to all the residents in the courtyard. And they didn't put it in a house like they're supposed to. They put it in a house or an apartment. They put it in the gatehouse. It's like a little shack built into the wall where the shomer, where the guard sits. Or achsadra. Achsadra is like a colonnade, a row of columns, a merpeset. Again, our merpeset, our upstairs gallery or walkway. And no Eruv, that's not a good place to put your Eruv. So that's not where we put it. We put it in a proper residence. For Hadar Sham, and if someone's actually living in this space, he's squatting in the gatehouse, and no Osir Love. So then if he doesn't join the Eruv, he doesn't mess up the rights of everyone else to rely on that Eruv to carry in and out of that courtyard. And the Mishnah continues with the contrast. Bebeta Tevin, if they put the Eruv in the straw silo, Bebeta Bakar, or the barn, Beta Eitzim, or the wood storehouse, Beit Otzrot, or the storehouse. Hareze Eruv, that actually is a valid Eruv, even though these places are not really dwellings, but yes, sometimes people rent them out, sometimes people live there, sometimes people sleep over there when you need room. But Darsham Osterlov, and somebody who lives in one of these places, he does need to join the Eruv, or his property rights as part of this Chatzer restrict everyone else's, as we explained before. So this reminds us, Rabbi Akiva used to live in a barn. There's that chashuv story about Rabbi Akiva and his wife, and all they had was straw. They were living in a barn, and she was picking the straw out of his hair. And he says, "I wish I could get you a ear shel zahav, which was a crown with a image of Yerushalayim in gold on it. That's a famous item that we mentioned in the Mishnayot and Shabbat. So they were very sweet and loving and giving, even though they were living in the barn with straw and nothing else." Anyway, the Mishnah continues. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Im yesham tfisat yod shel balabait. So even though someone else is renting out one of these, kind of quasi-residences, if there's still a hand holding of the real owner, Eino Oser Lav, then somebody who's just renting that out, or someone squatting there, or just staying over, his rights there are not real rights, and he doesn't restrict anyone else if he doesn't join the heir. So what we mean by Tfisa Yad, the Gemara explains, is the real owner actually has some stuff there, and not only is it his stuff that he has rights to go in and use or inspect, but it's stuff you can't move on Shabbos. So the guy who's renting or hanging out in the barn can't tell him, to move his stuff. So he has the right to be there, and, the person who's temporarily there or renting doesn't have property rights powerful enough to restrict anyone else's rights in the Chatzer, so the Eruv is good to go, even if he's not included. Yashar kochachem.